War Eagle War Report family, I'm your host, C-Dub. Auburn conducts its second scrimmage of this spring practice. We'll talk about that. A lot of notes coming out of that. And Auburn basketball receives a big commitment for the 2022-2023 season. We'll discuss that and more. Also, what did we see? A great show lineup for you guys, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, sit back, get your weight up, because your weekend tailgate begins right now.
You are now listening to a War Report Weekend Tailgate, brought to you by University Ace Hardware. It's your boy, Yohan. Be real. C-Dog. Mike G. Get ready. Sit on back as we bring you the War Report Weekend Tailgate.
War Eagle, everyone. War Eagle. Happy Sunday. I'm joined by Mike G, Ike Jones. You are watching the Weekend Tailgate, brought to you by our good friends at University Ace Hardware. Guys, if you ever find yourself in the Auburn area, please stop by. Located at 2101 East University Drive. Drop in, let them know that your friends from the War Report sent you there. Also, want to shout out you guys for watching this show, whether it's live or on replay. We appreciate you. And if you're on social media, we need you to do something for us. What we need you to do, share this video, guys. Share it on social media. Use hashtag Get Your Weight Up and help people to find this content. It's the off season, but it's never the off season at the War Report. We're consistently bringing you great content, so help people find it. Help us grow our community. Speaking of community, you need to become a patron in the off season. Mike G.
Hey, listen, we are still growing. Become a patron, become a part of our special community that we have with you guys. January to July, we're working hard to bring you guys extra content and the off season. Football has one of the longest off seasons of any sport. We're helping make it shorter for you guys. Now, we have basketball. We've got gymnastics. Baseball is not doing too bad right now either. So Auburn sports is popping. The War Report is here with you every step of the way. So become a patron member. Help support the content that we're doing. We're partnering with the Lee County Humane Society to raise money for a good cause. So help us help them. Hashtag save all the puppies by donating today. You can go to the About section of our YouTube channel. Hit the donate button. 50 cents on every dollar donated goes to them to help them in their mission to save all the puppies. So this is an ongoing fundraiser for us with them. We want you guys to be a part of helping us do something good. We've got some other partnerships that are coming up, but this is an ongoing one for us. So we appreciate you guys helping us out there. Listen, guys, we have I don't see the graphic here, but we're giving away some stuff today. Still giving away a Lobtown t-shirt. Our basketball season is over, but celebrating the fact that we just pulled in a 5-star commit for Auburn basketball. We're going to give away a Lobtown t-shirt. I'm sure Mr. Yohan is going to be a real big part of Lob City for years to come. So hashtag Get Your Weight Up in the comment section. Now, make sure you get your hashtag Get Your Weight Up in, because we still have more 8A tickets to give away. Now, we gave away like 20 of them on the last one. 8A is this coming Saturday. We're going to give away some more tickets. So if you want to be a part of that, hashtag Get Your Weight Up. We're going to do a couple drawings today to make sure that we get those tickets to you guys in time for 8A. So t-shirts, tickets, giving them all the way at the War Report. If you don't win, visit our merch store at thewarreport.com, where you can find all the War Report gear you could want. We're on podcasts, so check us out on every single podcast platform. We're doing some interesting things on podcasts. So our girl Brandy Mack, over on Twitter, go check her out. That's Brandy with 3 E's and a Mac at the end. And Auburn Memes. Join us once a week to talk everything Auburn. Brandy is an odds and betting expert. She makes quite a bit of money betting parlays and doing a bunch of stuff I don't really understand, which is why we bring her onto the show. But podcast exclusive. You can only get that on podcast. Check us out. Also, our girl Allie Davison is joining us on podcast to talk a little Auburn basketball. She covered Auburn sports from 2012 to 2016 over with our guy JG Tate, so she has some interesting things to say. But you can only catch that on podcast. So go subscribe, download, leave us a 5-star review so we can help get those podcasts out to you guys. Special shout out to Prize Picks. Speaking of Brandy, like, listen, Brandy can help you with your Prize Picks, as can Ike, because he did a bunch of segments explaining to you guys how to do this. So if you've been watching the War Report, you don't know how to make your Prize Picks. That's like a tongue twister. Your Prize Picks. Help us support them. Support us by supporting our sponsors. PrizePicks.com still giving out 100% match bonus if you are a new sign up. So we love Prize Picks. They've been with us through this basketball season. We're hoping to bring them back on this fall. So please support PrizePicks.com. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Let's get to it, man. It's spring football. All right. Football is back, even though we're technically in the off season. There's a lot to discuss regarding spring football. First thing we'll talk about is we released a Facts or Nah last week in which we discussed a certain potential player earning a scholarship. That player you asked, Sean Jackson. I believe we all said facts on that one, right? We felt that it was definitely a certainty that he was going to get a scholarly, and a few days later he was awarded a scholarship. Congrats to him on winning that. Harsin kind of praised him, talked about he's been really consistent. They've all known he was a very talented player, but he's been very consistent. And with our depth being in question, with guys out, some guys not on campus yet, he's been really big this spring. And so this has kind of helped them to just give him a scholarship. What are your guys' thoughts about this for Sean Jackson? I've been looking forward to this day happening. I didn't think it would happen this soon, but what are your thoughts on this? I'll start with you, Ike.
Listen, Sean Jackson's been working hard. I think it's important considering that, Damari Alston's not on campus right now. Jarquez Hunter is hurt right now for the spring. So having another scholarship running back in there, I know Jordan Ingham's still on campus right now, but another scholarship running back in the backfield, especially one who I think we could have used more last year on short yardage situations. Like he's just a powerful, he's a load to bring down, right? So like he can be a short yardage back. He can be a utility kind of, if they want to use, that. We went to two backs a lot last year, right? Like it was Jarquez and Tank on the field at the same time. Now imagine Sean Jackson as the lead blocker on one of those packages, right? Definitely can do some damage. So looking forward to seeing what they do to utilize him now that he's on scholarship, and hope to see some big dividends from him in the near future. And definitely proud of that young man for working hard. Everybody talks about how hard he works. So if anybody deserves it, it's him. So definitely happy to see that.
Mike G, your thoughts on it? How do you feel he will factor into the running back race or the running back room just in general coming this upcoming season?
Well, I think independent of how he factors into the race, I'm just happy to see him earn a scholarship. He's worked hard. He's been a team guy from what Coach Harsin said. If you watch the video of him telling his mom that he earned a scholarship, I mean, that was a moving moment for me. Not everything is about 5-star recruits, and there are a lot of players who come in unheralded and just outwork a lot of these more talented guys, right? So I was happy to see that their staff is also willing to reward guys who just work hard and come in and bust ass and do everything that's asked of them. And they weren't born. I mean, Sean Jackson wasn't born with a golden spoon in his mouth. I would bet that this kid has had to work twice as hard as his peers his entire life just to have this opportunity. And for them to recognize it with a scholarship is something, that's very special. Now his education is paid for, because most of these guys are going to go pro in something other than sports. So for him to have his education paid for and for them to recognize his contributions to the team, even if it's ultimately not on Saturdays, guys like Sean Jackson help our defense prepare for the better running backs in the league. And then in the case of injury, which Look at what happened to Jarquez Hunter this offseason. And you just never know. Damari Alston is a question mark. We have high hopes for him, but is he going to be ready to contribute come fall? Maybe, maybe not. What I do know is Sean Jackson's been in our system and in our strength and conditioning program for a bit, so he's probably more physically ready to go in and contribute. I thought he showed us a little something last A-Day, and I'm hoping to see a little bit more from him this A-Day. He looked like a battering ram last A-Day, man. Just give it to him and just boom up the middle like a rocket, and falling forward for 4 yards every time. So I'm
early
really
action too. I think he got a little bit in the Akron or Alabama State games as well. So he played a little bit last year early in the season. So
he did.
Mm-hmm.
In early fall, because I know there was COVID, Jarquez was out and he was getting some of those reps and playing well in those scrimmages as well. So yes, we definitely been hearing about him all last year.
Right.
So before we get in, and congrats to him, man. I'm excited about it. And to your point, Mike G, that's a great point about this staff rewarding guys who come in and work hard. So that's good to see. Before we get into the rest of some of the spring notes, let's address some of the super chats. Justin Paul, appreciate you.
Hey, man.
I'm not sure if you were trying to say something. Did you guys catch what he was trying to say?
I didn't see it, but thanks,
Okay.
Justin.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Comments recognized for the rest of the stream.
Right. Solomon got a chance to rock my Lobtown hoodie yesterday.
oh yeah,
Nice. What kind of cotton, Mike G, is it?
Egyptian.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Bryson Bridges says an old Auburn game came on the other day, and I've taught my 2-year-old girl to say War Eagle. Do I have to finish raising her? Is that enough?
It's enough. That's it. She's already on the right track. You set her on the right path toward the light.
Icing on the cake is if you get her to go to Auburn. That's
Yeah,
icing on the cake. But you've done a lot of the heavy lifting already. So congrats to you, my good friend. Yes, raise them up well. Cleveland says AU football recruiting is up. Harsing and company putting in work, and it shows. What's your take on it, fellas? What do you guys think on it? I've been hearing a lot of guys visiting, highly recruited guys, and what's been important is that they've been enjoying the recruiting trip. Osbury's brother is actually on campus this weekend and had positive things to say about the trip. So I think what's even more important is the fact that not only are they getting guys on campus, they're actually enjoying their trip or coming back. So that's good to see. What are your thoughts? What do you guys take on it? I'll go with you, Ike.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's always good to see positive momentum in recruiting, but I mean, I'm still in a place of we'll wait and see, because having good visits and even people making commitments when they sign is when I get excited. But I am glad to see the momentum, because this is kind of anti the doom and gloom that everyone forecast for what Auburn recruiting would be in the wake of all of the offseason craziness. So if we're off to a good start now in the wake of that, then I can only imagine that it continues to go up if the product on the field matches the enthusiasm in the locker room. And that's really what's going to cement it, right? Because we still have some work to do, specifically on the offensive side, to prove to upcoming recruits that this is a destination for you to come, show your talent, make it to the league. So definitely a good start. Hopefully that momentum continues on.
Right.
So it's funny how once all the rumor and scandal settles down, things don't look as bad as everybody was projecting it to be. Recruiting was a huge part of that. And, once you get through all the bull, this man has a solid program to sell to recruits. Year one may not have looked great, but I can't stress enough, for most coaches, the year one doesn't look great. It looks like there are a ton of cracks, and nobody wants to hear it, but I will die on this hill. Changing culture from what we were doing to what we are doing is hard.
Yeah.
We saw some guys fall by the wayside. Some guys could not accept that change, so they decided that it was time to go. Now, I had tweeted out, we had about 40% of the people on this team bought into what we were trying to do last year. That's not uncommon, though. Brian Harsin comes in. He's the new guy from the Northwest or whatever region he's from.
That's right.
And it took him a while to establish his vision, get a certain percentage of the guys to buy in, and give everybody else the left foot of fellowship. That's how it works. That's exactly how it works. And I promise you, in a year or two, there will be some of those guys who look back on it and wish they had stayed. The new guys coming in, they're trying to look at this objectively. I have a chance to go play at an SEC school where they have had success over the last 10, 12 years. We've got a championship under our belt. You know, we've recruited well for the most part. We haven't been able to get over the hump, but they can be a part of us getting over the hump.
Yeah.
I just don't know how you look back at what we were doing and think that there weren't serious cracks in the foundation. Now, what you saw last year was because not everybody was bought in. That showed up late in the season when you need the cohesiveness of your team the most.
Right.
It looked good early, but late in the season where you have to fight, where your legs are a lot heavier in that fourth quarter than they were in game 3. And everybody knows our October, November is always brutal. The cracks showed at the end of the season. Somebody tweeted at me. They said, so were they not bought in when we were 6-2? I was like, that has nothing to do with anything. The point is that we were never where we thought we were. And we just saw it at the end of the season. So it felt a little bit more disappointing because they actually showed you what their top potential was. And then they came back down to earth. Yeah, now in year 2, I would just expect to see better results. If we don't, then we can put that on the coach. But these are all his guys now. There's not a quarterback left on this roster that he didn't recruit. And a lot of the other ones that he didn't recruit are gone. So now we get to see what it's like. These coordinators, these coaches, this is his team now.
Yeah.
Now, for me, the clock starts. Now, all I need to see is better than 6 wins in year 2. Plus 2 wins is what I need to see in year 2. An 8-win season, I promise you, the SEC West is going to include some disappointing losses. Get ready for it. It's just going to happen. Most people's season in our division ends that way. Even for the teams who had better seasons than us last year, they all ended the same way for everybody unless you won the West. It ended that way for Ole Miss. Arkansas had one of the better years that they've had in a long time.
Right.
They still got their ass whooped by Auburn. Ole Miss, one of the better quarterbacks they've had on their team in a long time, will play in the NFL. Didn't save them from that ass whooping to Auburn. So for us to be worse, you're telling me that we're going to have to go in and lose the teams that we beat last year, who are experiencing the same, if not more, talent deficits going into this year that we are. So I really, really think that in year 2, this team can do something really good. I don't get the doom and gloom. I don't get the doom and gloom from everybody about this season. We just need to see some improvement, man. I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see. And listen to the player. If you don't buy it from me, just buy it from the players.
Right.
We interviewed Luke Deal. We had Robbie on. We had TJ on. These guys are excited. They're hyped. If they're hyped, I'm hyped for them.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, like to answer the question directly, were they not bought in earlier? Was anybody super happy with the product that you saw on the field? Forget the record.
Right.
Struggling offensively, really against teams that you should have dominated, not really putting up points in the second halves of games. That was evident the entire season. It just manifested in losses later in the season.
Correct.
So if you're looking at the record and saying, were they not bought in? Yeah, it's clear. Again, the product on the field says it. Like, you're looking at the win-loss column and not the product on the field, because those same people, probably the person who asked you that on Twitter was probably one of the people wanting to fire Derek Mason week 2.
Yeah.
And telling everybody to stop saying it, telling them we need new wide receivers and the offensive line sucks. Right. Yes, people were not bought in. Yeah, like the product on the field says it all. So I don't understand the amnesia that people have around their own critiques of the program just because they saw the win-loss record and said to themselves, "Oh, it's not that bad." But you were hating it every minute of it. And then when we started losing, you were like, "See, I told y'all." And then after we lost and people were like, "See, there are problems in the locker room." What do you mean? It's Coach Harson's fault. And it's like, but didn't you just
right?
Y'all math ain't mathing, bro.
Right.
And I want to know where these people were right after Georgia State.
That's what I'm saying.
If you're going to ask that question, where were you after Georgia? And what was your mood like? Like, let's go with the Avengers back into time and check your mood right after Georgia State.
Yeah, you can't tell me you were that was in the W column. You can't tell me
that was
you were super encouraged after that game.
But that's my whole point. It's like it's not as if it just started happening when we started. It was evident the whole season. The whole season. You just didn't like all you were seeing symptoms, but you didn't know what the problem was. Then after the season, you're like, oh, that's what was causing all the stuff. And now you're like, but that ain't the real reason because we went 6-2.
You know, the Iron Bowl is a great microcosm of what we're talking about in this discussion. Is that you see we saw what Bryce Young was made of in that fourth quarter of that Iron Bowl. There were obvious issues with Alabama the entire season. It manifested itself toward the end of the season and in the national title game.
Yeah,
I called it week 2. One of the few things B has come over with me, and I said their offensive line is crap. They're bad.
But like you said, it's not as if it was a new problem.
No.
It just manifested in a different way. And people were like, well, how in the world? It's like, man, we tried to tell y'all this weeks ago. It's trash.
It's trash. Their offensive line was trash.
All you needed was a team that had the talent and the time to exploit it.
Yeah, to get after them. And they overcame that. But even after that Iron Bowl win, you can't tell me if you were a Bama fan that you weren't worried that Auburn sacked him like 7 times.
Right.
You were worried. Despite the win, you're like, you didn't feel super confident. Now, I called Alabama to win the SEC championship game. But I felt good about Georgia winning the national title game in the rematch because they had the horses to adjust, adapt, and win that game. And ultimately, those weaknesses that were there the entire season caught up with them. It just caught up with them at the very end. That's not that dissimilar to what happened with us. We had a bunch of deficiencies at the beginning of the season, and more of ours showed at the end because we did not have the individual transcendent talent to overcome those deficiencies at the end of the season.
Right.
Bryce Young had the individual transcendent talent to overcome all their offensive deficiencies in the fourth quarter of that Iron Bowl.
Right.
And he carried them most of the season.
And the reason why most of ours showed is that Alabama wasn't in the middle of a culture shock either.
No, man.
Their culture was set. Like we were shook from the foundation in terms of what culture Brian Harsin was bringing in.
Right.
And we didn't know till well after the fact how many people were bought into this program.
Right.
Let us tell it. It was more than 40%.
That buy-in sometimes makes up for what you lack in terms of development and maturity on your team.
It starts going downhill once you start losing. Like once the losses pile up, then it's like I was on the fence, and it's like most of these people in this fan base that are doing this crazy stuff. You were on the fence to begin with, and then as you start losing games, you start losing faith in that process that you're supposed to be trusting. And so now it's just, oh my God, see, I told you guys. But we could have gone. Only lost 2 games all of last season. It would not have changed the fact that the buy-in was not where it needed to be.
All right. That's it. And it doesn't matter what the record was. It was going to show up eventually.
Right.
And it did.
It would have shown up in the transfer portal because people they'd been like, oh, what the heck? Why are all these people leaving? We just had a good season.
Right.
because they didn't want to be here. They was like, nah, I'm good. I'll find somewhere else.
I'm good on showing up to practice on time.
Right. Listen, let's move on because we still got a lot to talk about. Jazzy Joe says, "What up, peeps? One more day."
He's getting a thing done to his truck.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that, man.
Yeah,
I
can't wait to see the pictures.
Shout out to you, Jazzy. Philip Coleman says, "I really see what Mike G was talking about, maturity and off-field stuff." Demetrius Davis post on IG was throwing shade at Finley and Lee Hunter, commenting.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up, but it definitely was like, bro, this is what we were talking about.
Yeah,
this is what we were talking about right
here. Still wish him well.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you whoever his next potential coach is thrilled with seeing that on social media.
Yeah.
Now, Lance, shout out to our guy Lance Dahl. If you don't know Lance helps cover Auburn live in person for us down in Auburn. So he goes to the games on our press credentials. But Lance messaged me and he was like, Mike, he did some super sleuthing. Lance took that picture of D kind of like pulling his jersey down and noticed that it was an Adidas jersey. So he started like Googling all the teams that had Adidas contracts. And he was like, he thinks it could be Alabama State or Arizona State has an Adidas contract, apparently. So yeah, he was like, hey, it could be any one of these schools. There were some other schools that he threw out there, but chat, if y'all want to help Lance sleuth, start looking up teams with Adidas contracts, because when he was on the picture that he posted where he was pulling his jersey down, it was an Adidas jersey. So I wish him well no matter where he lands, man. I just hope that he figures this part out quickly, because I personally don't think his talent is what's going to hold him back. I think that his mentality will hold his talent back from showing people what kind of athlete he can be. So
John Brandon says AU basketball and gymnastics helped squash a lot of negativity that was around Auburn a few months ago. Definitely agree with you there.
I can agree with that.
Marcus Holland says the doom and gloom comes from people like Barrett Salih pushing the narrative hard. We are not getting better. I knew I spelled his name wrong.
That's okay.
That's all right.
They don't deserve that respect anyway.
I don't think he spells his name right.
But go ahead.
Yeah. I don't think he spells his name right. But anyway, Stuart Donald says new T-shirt. Your math ain't mathing, bro.
That's funny.
Listen,
funny.
like
there's something marketable there.
Mike's a lyricist. I mean, Ike's a lyricist. He has these gems he throws out every once in a while. I love that though, for sure. Guys, please do us a favor. We need your help with the midway point or near the midway point. We need you to smash the like button. We appreciate you guys if you're commenting. If you're commenting and you haven't smashed the like button, please do that at this time. Help us with our engagement. We're going to pause to acknowledge the sponsors of the War Report.
The War Report's Weekend Tailgate Show is brought to you by our generous sponsors. University Ace Hardware, located at 2101 East University Drive in Auburn, Alabama, right across the street from the Auburn Mall and next to the movie theater. For all of your hardware needs, Ace is the place. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn sports, head over to AuburnSports.com. And our giveaway sponsor, GWT2 Energy. If you want the best in the business at restaurant logistics, check out our friends at GWT2Energy.com.
Hey, listen, become a Patreon member. We are growing our community. You can help us do that by becoming a Patreon member. Head on over to YouTube and hit that join button on the front page of our YouTube channel. Helps keep us financially viable. We're working real hard to bring you guys content here in the off season. So the War Report is here with you multiple days a week with interviews, lives, all that jazz. Help us grow. Become a Patreon member. Guys, we are partnered with the Lee County Humane Society to hashtag save all the puppies. Head to the about section of our YouTube channel, click donate. And after you click donate, 50% on every dollar you donate will be donated to them to help them in their mission to save puppies. So we appreciate you guys for doing that. We're giving away a T-shirt in honor of Auburn signing 5-star Yohan. I didn't want to butcher his last name there, but I'm sure Isaac and Caesar will help me out later. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments. This is brought to you by GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. That's our guy, Walt Taylor, in the comments. Man, he's doing hella work helping restaurants get their weight up financially. So go check out GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. And if you know anybody who owns a restaurant, refer them to Walt. This is how our community takes care of each other. Walt is not only a channel sponsor, but he is a part of our community. So to the extent that we can help him find any customers for his business, that is the greatest reward we can give him for essentially giving away stuff to you guys literally every live stream. So thanks to Walt. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments, and we're going to pull at the 1 hour mark, not only for this t-shirt, but for some tickets to A-Day. So watch out for that. If you don't win the t-shirt, head on over to our merch store at thewarreport.com. Click the catalog button. Take a look at all the hot-ish we got in there. Designed by Ike Jones. Ike has become quite the clothing designer. He's going to fashion design for the War Report on the side. You guys didn't know that was his talent, but he can comment on sports. He can rap. He can design clothes. He can create graphics. This man can do it all. So go get a little piece of this merch in our merch store. Also, check us out on podcasts. We're on every single podcast platform. We're doing podcast exclusive content. So we have regular contributors, Auburn Memes, Brandy Mack, who is at the Final Four right now, by the way. She decided to go down even though Auburn did not make it. Brandy is at the Final Four, enjoying that on our behalf. And Allie Davison, who will be joining us from time to time to talk about Auburn basketball and all things Auburn. So check us out on podcasts. You can only get that content on podcasts. Want to shout out prizepicks.com. Go to prizepicks.com and use code REPORT to get a 100% match bonus. And you can use that. I mean, basketball season is winding down here for college basketball, but the NBA is still going. There are still plenty of ways to win on prizepicks.com. So support them. Help us by supporting them and registering for an account. Totally legal in the state of Alabama. Not everywhere. It's funny. It's legal here in Virginia, but like if I go over to DC at work, it's not. So like I gotta like go home and put in my stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Guys, let's keep going with football. Let's talk QBs. Auburn wrapped up his second scrimmage, an 85-play scrimmage, according to Brian Harsin, and he actually met with the media to talk the competition. And 11 practices in, he's saying it's not as balanced as it was starting spring practice. What do I mean by that? Finley is reportedly to have received the majority of the first team reps this spring. Harsin has noted that Finley has been working on his consistency, his footwork, fundamentals, and accuracy. And one of the things that he's praised him about is that he has a good handle of the offense. He understands what they're asking him to do. Obviously, this is his second year in the offense. He has 3 games under his belt in this offense. But he has a good understanding of what they're wanting him to do offensively within the scheme. He also has a better understanding of what the defenses are doing. He just needs to go out and execute. Now, Mike G, you mentioned this. I'll let you chime in later. You said this in the last live. You felt like this was Finley's job to lose. I'm going to post this question to you, Ike. Do you concur? We know Calzada is kind of the wild card here because we don't know what he's going to be like in the summer and fall. But do you feel like at this point, this is Finley's job to lose, as he has definitely a year of experience under his belt in this system?
Yeah, I mean, so I wouldn't go as far as job to lose, but I thought going into the spring he would be the clear front runner just because he's the only one with game reps in an Auburn uniform, right? Like he's been in the system. He knows what's expected of him. He wasn't in the spring last year, but he's been through practices. Like he knows the terminology better than everyone else. And from what I know from talking to TJ and from hearing you guys talk to TJ, he is committed to being a better leader. And that's really where it starts, right? Like if you know the system and your leadership is showing in the locker room, yeah, you're going to be the guy that stands out when it's time to decide who's going to get the reps first, because they want to have somebody out there who already knows what the calls are supposed to be. And they don't have it's easier to let someone show as an example than it is to try to teach them on the fly. So yeah, TJ definitely has the leg up. So if he can get into a place where he's more consistent with all of the little things necessary to accurately deliver passes to receivers, then there's no reason why he shouldn't be the first guy out there, trotting out on the to A-Day Saturday. He should be the first guy out there, right? So we'll see. I do think that he still has a lot of work to do, but he should be number one right now.
Mike, thoughts on this?
Yeah, listen, shouldn't be a shock to anybody, even though I know a lot of people hate it.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate it. TJ Finley had a leg up on everybody. All reports have been that he does everything that's asked of him. He was in the system last year. He didn't get a spring last season. So this spring is big for him. But he did get a whole season of going through practice, sitting on the bench, working with these guys, at least to some extent, and everybody else just had catching up to do. It's not that hard to believe.
Yeah.
These guys make it to this level. He's got talent. His talent just looks different than some of the other quarterbacks. He's not flashing the pants, run all over the field, break 8 tackles. That's not his game. You don't need that to be a good quarterback, though. So behind this offensive line, if pass protection can hold well enough for TJ, and he does his part, going through his reads and not holding on to the football much longer than 2.5 seconds on average, I think he can be a good quarterback here. I'm not sure where TJ's ceiling is at exactly, but he's going to have to show us that.
Yeah.
And I think it's totally fair to say that he's got something to prove.
For sure.
Based on what he himself did in key moments last year. I just don't think it's fair. I think it's fair to say, hey, I got worries based on what you saw. I just don't think it's fair to say, based on what we saw last year, where his ceiling is at.
Right.
Because those same people did not have that same energy for 2 years with the last quarterback. Doing a lot of the same stuff. So I just don't want to hear this dude after 3 games. Now, let me tell you something. The leash that he should have going into this season with the guys that we have behind him should be short.
Yeah.
Right.
But listen, we said the same thing last year.
Last year.
That leash has to be short because what we hope to see every season, and please play the tape back and tell me if I didn't say similarly. We want to see an active quarterback competition and the best person win. If that person's not getting the job done, then the next man needs to be up and ready to play.
That's it.
That's all I can hope for, man. That's all I can hope for is the best person wins out and is playing on Saturdays. If they're not getting the job done, bring somebody else in, let them do it.
Now, what does that look like? Right? We know our first 5 games at home. We got 2 cupcakes, and then we have Penn State at home. And then you go to Missouri, and then you have LSU to cap that 5-game home stretch. So after the first 2 cupcakes, this offense should look fluid, it should look competent, and it should look dangerous. If it doesn't, after 2 games against what we know are subpar competition, then, we have some questions. We got excited last year because even though our first 2 games last year were against cupcake teams, Bo looked explosive in that first game.
Right.
Less so in the second game, but we did throw the ball less. But there was something there for us to grab onto.
Right.
It fell apart versus Penn State and even more so against Georgia State. But I think it was going to be hard. It was all based on how the first 2 games went last year. It was going to be hard to pull Bo versus Penn State, which I think is fair based on how he played in the first 2 games. We need to see that from TJ because one of those losses to South Carolina, man, I think of the games that he started in, that was the one that hurt the most.
Right.
That was a game we totally should have won, and the throws were there. And I think that if you ask TJ, he would tell you, I should have played better. Matter of fact, he did tell us after the game in the post-game pressers. South Carolina, I mean, they just weren't that great, man. We should have beat them. So going into this, I mean, he's got to look like that guy in those first 2 games. And that will, and then versus Penn State, I personally don't think we have to win that one. If you're going to lose a game, you lose a game versus a Power 5 non-conference opponent.
I really want that game though.
I want it. It's at home. But if that's the one you're going to lose in the first, that's the one you lose in the first 5.
Sure.
And you win the other 2 versus SEC opponents, right? In conference. And hopefully find your groove. Sometimes those losses help catapult us into good stretches. So if you want to lose one, lose it. Just don't look incompetent losing it.
And I think something that he has going for him this year that even the previous quarterback didn't have is, again, he understands his offense, which is why the leash should be shorter, is because you don't really have an excuse. You know the personnel, you know the offense, you've been in it. You should take a huge step in year 2.
That's facts.
And if you're not taking that step, then the other people who are pushing you, who've had less time to absorb the offense, let's give them a shot.
Right. That's it. Now Calzada is taking reps in he's taking reps in throwing situations. He's not live because of his shoulder injury.
Right.
But he is taking significant reps in other situations. So it's not like as if he's not throwing this spring. He's throwing because it was his non-throwing shoulder that he had surgery on. They're limiting him to make sure that he doesn't injure himself somehow.
Right.
But he will factor into this race come fall based on him getting some work this spring. And then you got Robbie Ashford.
Well, that's my next question for you guys. Is Harsin has been really positive. He's gotten the second most reps. And Harsin has been pretty complimentary of him as well. Like he is coach speak. He has all the physical tools. He's a very talented quarterback, basically. Very athletic, but can throw the ball. And Ashford has made it clear he's a quarterback, right? He is a QB. He intends to be a quarterback. I think the obvious thing here, the disadvantage that Ashford is in, is he's kind of where Finley was when he first got to Auburn. Just got to learn the offense and the system. How does he factor into the QB race as time goes on? So should his understanding of the offense. So if he has this talent, how much more interesting does he make this QB competition going into summer and fall, in your opinion?
I think he makes it very interesting. Now, he can move and is a very good athlete. And he was recruited by this coach. So I would expect nothing is going to be handed out here, man. If Robbie's out there working, he's got a shot. He's got a shot to do it. Now, some of the things that we've heard about Robbie is that he needs some work on his touch passes in like short yardage situations and, just stuff that you can definitely clean up. So, that's all part of his growth. He has not played in a college game since he's been in college. But he's out there working, man. He wants it. He's hungry. Now, I think he deserves his shot. Now, how realistic is it that I think that he's going to win the job over a guy who's been in the system and another dude who started literally every game in the SEC and beat Bama last year? That's tough. But it doesn't mean that he cannot overcome all that if he is the most consistent. That's easier, man. It's easier to play guys you got tape on. It just is. If they pull the trigger on Robbie, I mean that he blew them away this spring.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, he's got time. He's got time. And I'm not so sure about the guys who are in front of him right now to say that he's not going to get his chance, even if he does not win it from game one. So we'll see. And then Garner, you got to be happy about where Garner's at, man. I'm hearing good things from him coming out of spring as well too.
Sure.
It'll be nice to have an heir apparent somewhere in there that's been in the system for a couple of years and will compete in year 2, or is just willing to wait his turn the same way they do at other schools. Right. And then step in and be dominant from game 1 because he's been learning the college game for 2 years.
I mean, how good does it seem, Ike, to know that you have from a competency standpoint. We know there has to be competition. You can only play one QB at a time. But how good is it to know that you actually have a room of guys that have the talent and the ability to be your quarterback?
I mean, listen, I don't think that most schools, and this for whatever reason has not always been the case traditionally at Auburn over the last few years, don't have a deficit of talent at the quarterback position. And so we're finally getting to a place where we should have been all along, which is we've got 4 or 5 talented quarterbacks in that room, and who is going to be the guy that kind of supersedes everyone else. And in a couple of years, it should be going into the year we have a solidified, this is going to be the guy, but a lot of talented people behind him in case of injury, right?
Right.
So we've just got to build to that place, but it's definitely good to not feel as if QB1 goes down, you don't have anybody competent behind them. Like that's the place I'm glad to be in, is that if the first guy is not able to do it, I feel okay about whoever is coming in as the backup, right? But my hope is that we grow to a place where the first guy is just that guy. And man, if he plays well, like it is at any other school, you have a really great quarterback. You're a title contender from day one. You just need the other pieces around him to be adequate. Auburn's had the other pieces, right? We've had great running backs. We've had good wide receivers. We've had decent O-lines. We just haven't had the person at quarterback to consistently play well. And, again, having good talent in that room, pushing one another is nothing but a good thing.
I just before we move on to some of these comments, I just remember when Auburn would play teams and their QB would go out and then the backup would come in and their offense would still move the ball. I would remember saying, man, it'd be nice to have that at Auburn. Right. Yeah. So to know that we're approaching that is an amazing feeling. Corey Weber asked, are we hanging out for A-Day? I don't think we've really stated what our plans are for A-Day. I know Mike G is going to be in DC.
Yeah, I'm staying put this A-Day.
Ike, you're going to be down there, right?
I will be in Auburn on A-Day. So, hey, listen, man, y'all tell me where we meeting up. I'll come holler at y'all. It's going to be a gang of y'all with tickets we sent there. So I might as well come say what's up to y'all. So yeah, just let me know what's up, man. We'll do it.
We can definitely get a game plan for Wednesday for sure to let people know. And then of course, send it out on social media. Jazzy. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. You can't do this without doing this.
Yeah. Welcome to another Jazzy Challenge.
That make me want to go get some bourbon every single time. Every single time, just want to get a glass.
Lame location challenge. Where am I for 50? I'm Mike G. I haven't seen a recent tweet of Jazzy's. Do you?
No, I haven't. So I'm just going to take a shot in the dark here and say, dude is in Texas. No, wait. I'll take that back. Tomorrow, Virginia. He's in Virginia. He's here in Virginia, in my state.
I'm gonna go with he's in Pennsylvania.
Okay, I like that. He's got an appointment tomorrow to get the thing on his truck, so he's got to be someplace close to where they do that appointment. If not already there.
That doesn't help me at all.
His base is in Virginia, though.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
If he's not already there, he's driving through someplace.
I was going to say Illinois, but I'll go with Kentucky.
Kentucky? All right.
I'm going to go with
Kentucky.
We go.
Okay. All right.
We'll see who was right, if anyone.
So let's talk about receivers.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Harsin has praised these 3 guys when he met with the media yesterday. He was asked about receivers, and the first name he mentioned was who, Mike G? Who's your
Malcolm
guy?
Johnson Jr., baby. Told y'all. My guy. But you got to listen to what he said about Malcolm and his growth.
Yeah.
So everybody bitching about wide receiver play. He said that Malcolm was jammed up on a route made a move to get open, got his guy off him, and then made a play on the ball. And, that's encouraging to hear, because what did we hear all last year? Our receivers don't get separation. They don't get separation. Now, that was true some of the time, but it wasn't as true as most people made it out to be, right? They got separation a lot and just didn't get found.
Right.
By whoever was playing.
We were throwing to covered guys.
Yeah, right. We were just throwing to guys who had not gotten separation, but there were guys who had separation. So I'm excited about this wide receiver core, man. With Javarius Johnson deciding to come back and Malcolm, coming back, it's really going to come down to, Shedrick's back. We've been hearing nothing but great things about him from every QB we've talked to.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm excited about the potential of this wide receiver core if quarterback play is better.
Right.
So, they can't throw the ball to themselves at the end of the day. So I'm really excited to see what these guys could do. Malcolm Johnson is our over-the-top deep threat. He can beat a guy deep. So, I don't know, man. I'm excited about it.
Ike, he also mentioned guys like Tavares Dawson and mentioned Jay Fair again. So we got some young guys who are definitely bought in and who are practicing well and are impressing these coaches. You couple that with Shed, as Mike mentioned, and Tavares Johnson is just getting back. Like he's been limited because of a hamstring injury, and he's just now starting to practice. How do you feel? Like, do you agree with the assertion that if QB play is improved, that we could potentially see this wide receiver group break out next year?
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. If QB play was average last year, we'd have won a few more games. So yeah, consistency. Well, let me clarify the kind of consistency, because I don't want us to be consistently bad. But if the QB play is decent enough for, listen, just hit guys when they're open. I'm not asking you to throw into these tight window throws where you're throwing guys open and be Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, but be consistent. Go through your progressions quickly, get rid of the ball when you need to, and live to fight another day, not making stupid throws. Then yeah, I think the wide receiver, and I said it last year, we have enough talent in the room that we should be able to do some things offensively. We still have a ton of talent in that room despite the departures. I don't see any reason why, if the quarterback can deliver the ball consistently, that this room wouldn't be able to produce first downs consistently, touchdowns consistently. There's nothing to say that won't happen. So I'm still optimistic about that same prospect.
Lisa Wise here. Appreciate you, Lisa, hanging out with us. Appreciate the super chat. I like TJ. He has always practiced well and done the things asked of him, but the live game seems to be too much for him at LSU and last year. Thoughts about that, guys?
I don't think that's fair. LSU was a goddamn mess his freshman year, and he got thrown in there after Brennan got hurt. We were a mess last year. They completely mismanaged that situation, and then blaming a guy for coming in and playing the way he did. Not all of it was on. Some of it was on him, but like I don't think it's like fair to say that the live game situation was too much for him. There were a lot of deficiencies around him as a whole. And this season, we get a chance to see how he looks when it all comes together. Orgeron's ship was sinking. We saw how it ended. That's not in debate. After Burrow and
that's important to note that. That's important to note that because people didn't think it was sinking when he was playing.
Right.
You saw it manifest a year later when he was gone. Right. So that's important to know. I'm sorry to cut you off, but yes.
No, it was sinking. We know now it was sinking. It was a mess. And look how many guys exited that program. TJ just got out early. They were not making good decisions there, and he was a true freshman. A lot of guys who go in and play as true freshmen don't look, but he also, you know what? I mean, if you're going to judge him by how he looked there, you got to also take into account how he beat a South Carolina team that year that we lost to. shredded them for almost 300 yards passing and a few TDs. It's just the issue with these guys, most of these guys, is not their ceiling. It's the gap between their floor and their ceiling that marks how good of a player they are.
Yeah.
The highs can be really high with TJ. The problem is that the lows still can be really low. What we need him to do is to raise his floor so the minimum expectation for performance is still good enough to win most games. We don't know if that's true because he has not started a full season for anybody.
Yeah, even if you tally up all of his games together, it's not a full season.
It's still not a full season.
And I don't think he should have been starting even his first year anyway.
Right.
He clearly wasn't ready.
I think that for a lot of quarterbacks is that, year one, it's really hard. It was so fun. I was wrong, but I thought D. Davis would have a shot to come in his first year and do damage in year one. In hindsight, I was wrong. He fell right in with the rest of just the whole of college football that your freshman year in the SEC. It's hard to come in and be dominant or even be serviceable unless you have a great team around you.
Right.
I don't think you can look back and say that TJ had that at LSU his first year or this year at Auburn. I just don't think you can say that. So, I mean, give him a shot going into this season. The expectation has to be that he's going to go in and with a year of preparation, a full year of preparation in an actual spring. You can't just look at him. You got to look at all the factors around him, man. And it's just a really crappy draw, man, 2 years in a row.
He has an opportunity this year to write his chapter, right? So how he performs determines what he can do in a game. I think it's just encouraging to know that hearing Harsin talk about the QB situation, it's a lot more optimistic than he sounded a year ago.
It is. Right.
And for that reason, you have to be, you have to take, I'm taking a wait and see approach with all of this, but it's encouraging to know we were saying after spring, Harsin needs to go to the portal.
I mean, but look who we had in the program in the spring.
That's my point.
Though. Like
that's my point.
It was the starter from last year, and then the other guy whose name I won't mention. Yes, the quarterback situation looked bleak last spring.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's encouraging to know that we are ahead of schedule in terms of how the QB situation was a year ago. Jazzy Joe says, I'm in Georgia.
Springfield. That's right.
Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I don't know why I thought it was Virginia. Lawrence threw me off. Lawrence is in Virginia.
Gotcha. Ed Darby says TJ problem was his footwork, and he needs to do his work at the line of scrimmage before the ball is snapped.
That is the most factual statement about TJ Finley's game, right? He's got to outthink the defense before the ball is snapped. And then he's got to have the trust that his receivers are going to be where they need to be so that he can release the ball while routes are breaking off and trust that guy is going to go get it.
So, I mean, to be clear, it's not that we've seen this just bothers me so much. Like, we did watch the film segments with you guys and we saw him make amazing throws. Well, see, all of y'all aren't signed up to be patrons. Okay. I see what the problem is. More y'all need a patron membership than you can see us talk about this stuff. Ed knows what's up. He saw he was there. He can make those types of throws. The problem with him, to Ed's point, is he usually, and this is the same problem the quarterback before him had, he predetermines where he wants to go with the ball. And he's not making the adjustment when the defense adjusts. So he's saying to himself, all right, I'm looking for such and such on this throw. And if that gets taken away, now he's got to figure out where he's going to go. He's not going through his mind saying that next step of this is where I'm looking first. If that's not there, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, this is where I'm going second. He doesn't get to second and third read often because he's predetermined in his mind where he wants to go. And then he's waiting because some of those are late breaking routes. Some of those are things where, they're option routes, whatever the situation may be. So there was a throw in the Birmingham Bowl where it was the very first drive. It's like, what the heck was that throw? But his first option was taken away. The second option looked like it was going to be there, and the DB broke on it. So instead of throwing it to the guy, he just threw it out of bounds. He pump faked, and the camera pans away, and then you see the ball floating out of bounds. You're like, where? It's because the second option he was about to go through, if he had thrown it, it'd have been a pick. So he just decided to throw it away. Right. So he just got to get there faster, and he's got to understand how to get off of a first read into that second read, and even maybe to a third read a lot more quickly, because his mobility is not the same.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, getting to your third and fourth read primarily, because most of the times SEC defenses aren't going to give you enough time to get through your third and fourth read. Right. There's not. Right. So if you're getting to your third and fourth read, most of the time it's because you're off your first read before the ball is snapped. You're already on your second read, 1 Mississippi, third read, 2 Mississippi, fourth read. And that's how it's going to work for him. That is the next step in his maturation process as quarterback, because he's not always going to be able, if ever, be able to run away from people in this league to create more time. And it looks better when the quarterback doesn't have to do that. The best quarterbacks in football history sit in the pocket, man, and deliver the football. And not always under ideal conditions either. They just know how to manipulate the pocket when pass protection is breaking down to protect themselves and give themselves that extra point something of a second that you need to deliver a throw. Yeah. Can't stress enough. If you're holding the ball beyond 3 seconds in college football today, it is very rarely a good thing.
A quick question for you guys. Another question from Ed. All the QBs we have are different. Are we trying to fit guys into an offense, or are we developing an offense for each guy? Ohio State QBs always seem to have the same or similar skill sets. Your thoughts on this, gentlemen?
I'm going to defer to Ike on this one. I got it.
So I haven't seen it yet. I don't know. Like, A-Day will tell me a lot as to whether or not they have things that are specifically for a more mobile quarterback like a Robbie Ashford, or if Robbie's being asked to do the same things TJ is asked to do, right? I think that last year it was evident that this offense has some flexibility because the previous quarterback had more design runs than TJ did, right? So it's not as if we were running the exact same offense with both quarterbacks. It was similar stuff, but it wasn't the same. Even the handoff packages look different, right? So I think that it's definitely possible that they've got enough in the playbook that would allow them to run some different things for different quarterbacks. I think that the majority of the installs are going to start looking more like whoever is QB1, though, right? Because you can't, I mean, everybody else around them has to learn twice as much stuff if you're running way different things for different quarterbacks.
Right.
You know, in the future, I'm assuming that we're going to start seeing a mold of a Brian Harsin quarterback, which is what seems, I think what Coach Harsin has seemed to focus on most is arm strength. If you look at Zach Calzada, big arm, TJ Finley, big arm, Robbie Ashford, big arm, Holden Garner, big arm, right? Like he wants guys that can threaten the deep ball because he knows he's got enough good run stuff in there. Right. I just need the defense to cheat up just a little bit. And I need a guy who can deliver it deep. Right. That's what it seems like he's focusing on. Like they may have different physical profiles, but the consistent thing amongst all those guys is big arm. Yeah. And what you saw from Zach Calzada, which is a willingness to sit in the pocket and take a hit while delivering the deep one. Right. And so I think that that's what the hallmark of this offense is going to be: composure in the pocket, delivering the deep ball with accuracy. And if we can start to build on that, then you're going to see Tank Bigsby cut loose, Jarquez Hunter cut loose, Damari Alston cut loose, right? Because the defenses now have to respect the fact that, you know, a 10-yard in route, this guy's going to hit it. A 20-yard dig route, he's going to hit it. A 40-yard go route, he's going to hit it. So I've got to be disciplined in the defensive backfield. So hopefully we'll start to see that more consistently.
Well, guys, listen, we are at the point where it's time to draw. But before we do that, a word from our sponsor, Rogue Shop.
This segment of the War Report is brought to you in part by RogueShop.com.
If you're in need of high-quality, all-natural herbs and extracts that contribute to a happy, healthy lifestyle, the Rogue Shop is the place for you. With a variety of products that contribute to a healthy sleep, lower stress, and a happy mood, the Rogue Shop has you covered. Visit them at therogueshop.com and use code REPORT today. Tell them the War Report sent you.
RogueShop.com. Head on over there. Order from our guy, Richard. He's selling some pretty good stuff there. You may need some products from them to deal with Bama fans for the next 4 months. So Richard has all that stuff. Time to get to the giveaway, though.
Yeah, let's do some tickets first. Let's do some.
You want to do the tickets first? Okay,
yeah, we got a couple of them. We can come back and give some more tickets away later.
Okay, we got 10 tickets to give away, so five sets.
All right, so let's do 2 now, 3 later. How about that?
Okay.
All right. So you've had time to get your weight up, and if you haven't done that already, too bad. I'm pushing the button. I ain't got time to be playing with y'all no more, man. Y'all know what the business is.
Playing with these hoes. No, Lisa.
Wow, so close. Lisa, who says she never sees her name, was right there.
Oh, it just
Stephen Finch,
That
though.
is not right.
Oh man,
It's not fair.
Yeah, the
Only for
raffle
Steven is
gods
it fair.
just playing with Lisa's emotions. Here's her name.
Congratulations, Steven. Congratulations. Are you here though?
Yeah, you
that's
gotta be.
You gotta be here.
That's the question.
Yeah, go ahead and roll it one more time, and we'll.
All right, Steven, you got one in the bank if you're here, but we got another one, and that set is going to.
I saw Lisa again.
Yeah, I did.
David Bush.
All right, so we got Stephen Finch and David Bush.
Yep,
Steven's here.
Boom, Steven. You need to email us business at the War Report so we can send you their tickets. If you didn't see your tickets from last time, Mike G should have sent an email, and we'll double back and make sure we've got all the sets set out. I saw Chef say something earlier about he didn't think he got his. We'll make sure we get that.
Yeah,
David
there
Bush
were
is
2
here
sets.
That's funny.
well.
That's funny, David. I know he gone.
Yeah.
Business at the War Report will get those tickets out to you guys. They are digital tickets, so we will email those sets once we receive your email. Include your real name, especially if your real name is not your YouTube name. So real name and YouTube name in the email, so we know it's you.
I think these guys are good. Their real name is their YouTube name, at least it appears to be. So, are we going to draw for the T-shirt now?
Oh yeah. Let's do this T-shirt drawing.
We get a T-shirt drawing. We're giving away lots of stuff here, guys.
All right. Our guy Walt Taylor making sure the T-shirts keep flowing through the community.
Let's go, Lawrence.
I saw his name already. And
oh man, it's not gonna be Lawrence.
James Buckley.
JB.
Are you here?
Mm-hmm.
James. Now we will keep moving and wait on James. He's got to be here as well. But James, if you're here, say what's up, and you know what the business is.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations to those of you who have won. We will be drawing a few other times for tickets later in the show.
Yep, we've got a couple more left.
Yeah, let's talk. Let's switch gears. We'll talk more basketball. We'll talk more football on Wednesday. But let's talk about basketball.
Is here.
James is here.
James, hey, business at the War Report. Address and T-shirt size for you, sir. Make sure that you include what kind of shirt it is, because I don't be remembering. But yeah,
congratulations. Let's talk basketball. Let's talk about a recent commitment we've gotten. 5-star Yohan. I'm going to go with Traore.
I think it's Traore, but it's
Traore.
Yeah.
Traore. Okay.
I didn't want to butcher it. Yeah, so I just said Yohan. YT. Somebody gonna be like YouTube.
He committed to Auburn, and a few of the breakdown on this kid. He's from Dream City Christian, Glendale, Arizona, 6'11", 227 pounds. He's the number 8 overall player in the 2022 class. And after decommitting to LSU after their whole fiasco, he committed to Auburn almost seems like days later and chose Auburn over Michigan, Texas Tech, and Gonzaga. He joins the likes of 3-star point guard Trey Donaldson and 4-star shooting guard Chance Westry, who's coming into this new class. A big addition in the front court. And we have a few, we list the roster going into next season. You'll notice who's missing from this roster is Trey Donaldson because he technically is on a football scholarship.
That's right.
So the list is scholarship athletes, even though we know Trey Donaldson will factor into Auburn's backcourt for next season, despite the depth we have already there. If you notice, the question marks are by Jabari Smith and Walker Kessler for good reason. It's almost a foregone conclusion by most of us that Jabari Smith is as good as gone, as he has been slated to be a top 3 pick in the NBA draft. The real question mark is with Walker Kessler and what he decides to do. Right. It's been stated that Yohan can play the center. And some recruiting sites has him projected as a center, but he can also play the point guard. And the scouting report on him is that he plays really well with his back to the basket. He's good in post-up game. Even though he can run the floor. He can shoot. Not as good as Jabari, but he can shoot the ball. But most of his game is the damage he can do in the interior. So just an instant reaction. I'll go with you, Ike. I don't know if you had a chance to check out Yohan or see any film or highlights of him. Your thoughts about this pickup?
Listen, it's something that we lacked last year. I mean, we had a good front court, but we didn't have a back to the basket type of player with a solid post game. I think it'll be interesting to see how we utilize it, but I think that he is a welcome addition to get more size on the team and size that can score, right? Because the issue I think last year with a lot of our post situations were you couldn't just dump the ball down to it like in the half court, right? And I talked about this, like guys who can just go get a bucket in the half court. That doesn't have to be off the dribble, breaking a guy down from the outside. It can be someone you give the ball to in the post and operate through in that way, right? And that was one of the things I talked about with Jabari, not necessarily being an issue, but he wasn't going to be a one-on-one threat. He was going to be a catch and shoot guy. He's, a one dribble pull-up guy, but he's not going to be the threat to break a defense down. Yohan could possibly be that person who comes in and makes that type of move for us to be able to, flex doesn't work. The high ball screen doesn't work. We got to reverse it back out. All right, cool. 13, 14 seconds left on the clock. Let's go get a post touch for Yohan and let him go to work. So hopefully that is the way that we employ him, and we'll see how well he passes out of the double team, because if that does become what we do from an offensive standpoint, teams are going to start just doubling him, right? So if he can pass well out of the double team, then we'll be good. We just need to have good shooting.
A catch and shoot guy.
Yeah, we got to have somebody who can knock down open jump shots. And I don't think that we lack the ability to do it. I just think that we've got I hope that the minute they got back to Auburn from Greenville, they just went and started working on catching and shooting. It's like just every day. I hope they are out there catching and shooting. Just that's the whole drill. Catch the ball, shoot the ball, because those opportunities will be there if you have a guy in the post who can do work. Those catch and shoot opportunities will be there. And then the dribble drives will start to open up a little bit differently, because you have to anchor somebody down to the backside of this guy who might be catching. You know what I'm saying? Like the offense looks different when you have different pieces to work through. So hopefully we'll be able to get back into a better shooting team when we have the ability to make teams play differently against us offensively. But you got to be able to shoot well, or they're going to neutralize your post game.
Corey Weber asked, and I'm going to pose this question for you, Mike G. That's too many on the roster, considering I think he's referring to wingman or men who play on the wing. Who's realistically leaving? Flanagan, Semo, and he's referring to Chance Westry, who's coming in as well, who also can play a similar position. So, do you see someone actually leaving, or is there an odd man out here?
There's going to be more attrition, I think.
Yeah.
There's going to be more attrition.
If I had to venture a guess right now, who was not going to be on this team, and I talked about this a little bit in our Slack channel. It's very low probability that both Dylan Cardwell and Stretch come back next season for Auburn with Traore here. So I think one of them likely leaves. Could be both. Dylan Cardwell's the one I think that's less likely to leave just because he has more eligibility. And I just think he loves Auburn. Not to say that Stretch doesn't, but I'm just saying like Dylan Cardwell really loves Auburn, right? Like he's just a whole different kind of like guy involved. And then of the two that you ask about specifically there, the one who has probably the bigger transfer market is Flanagan. The one most likely to leave is Semo, in my opinion.
Right.
So if I'm expecting to see one of those big guys and more hit the transfer portal here before it's all said and done.
Facts. Yeah, I don't see how we keep. We're starting to stack talent. We also have scholarship reductions as a byproduct of the sanctions. After the investigation, so we don't have spots freeing up. There's tightening down, and those guys are going to have to figure out. Pretty much, we're not going to have a whole lot of dead weight in terms of scholarships. Because you can't, right? If you're going to keep bringing talent in, some of these guys who are on scholarship are going to have to go, especially with the reduction this year, and I think next year as well too as a result. So it just is what it is, man. We need more offense. Yeah. We need more offense from the guard position, and if Kessler decides to come back again, I know Jabari is likely gone. But he ain't said shit yet. So till he says it,
that's why it's a question mark. That's why it's a question mark.
Yeah, it's just a question mark, man, and it will affect how some of these guys, how they are. I mean, think about it. Jabari coming in meant that some guys had to essentially wait their turn.
Yeah,
right. And
but that's an important thing to note. If Jabari comes back as well. Stretch is definitely gone.
He's gone. Yeah. Like, I mean, somebody's gone.
What about Jalen? What about Jalen?
Jalen actually might be gone as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you don't want to sit for another year behind a guy who's obviously going to start in front of you.
And Pearl has said, I just don't see Pearl encouraging Jabari to stay, but Pearl talked about utilizing Jalen. Right after the season end. Yeah. So he has some plan, and Jalen showed us something in the last game. So I can see them working around Jalen. Jalen can shoot. He can shoot the ball. He hustles. So it's interesting to see how this front court will look when the dust settles. I'm curious to see what happens. I feel better. I'm not going to say I'm confident about Kessler, but I feel a little bit better about his chances of staying than I did before. So it'll just be interesting to see. And I think what's encouraging about this roster too, guys, is that we talked about how Pearl pretty much mixed and matched players out of the portal and recruiting to put together the team we saw last year. This team will be together.
Yeah, it's solid for us
another year.
Yeah,
the experience, the experience is there with this squad. So that's very encouraging, especially when we get into the latter part of the season. So I think that's one of the beauty. That's the beauty of kind of what our core team is still intact, and we have a special talent coming in who with a slight different skill set than Jabari and Yohan, but for the most part, our team is mostly intact. So I'm excited about what next season looks like.
For sure.
Yeah. Listen, these are good problems to have. in basketball. We've got a lot of our talent was young. We were young at the guard position. How many of those guys were sophomores?
All of
last
them
year?
except Zeb Jasper.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We had a lot of young, underdeveloped talent that has a chance to get better, and we're bringing in guys that we don't have to throw to the wolves right away. So they may be able to be good in backup roles. And you already know if you're coming in, even if you're not getting a starting spot, right? Like if you're Westry or any of these guys, it just doesn't matter because you know Bruce Pearl likes to play 10 deep anyway. If you can contribute, you're going to see the floor under this coach. I don't see a downside, for these guys. We're going to see these guys on the floor contributing. The difference is this year, the core of this team will have a whole year's worth of chemistry together. Whereas going into this season, a lot of them came from different places and they played with each other before this year, last season.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is a problem that we have. And this is where I think NIL may actually do some good for college basketball. Now, guys don't have to be in a hurry to run off to the NBA to make a few dollars. Jabari, you already have a shoe deal. So if he just wants to, in his heart, come back and just be a kid for another year in college, it might be worth it. I just hope it works out, man. The last thing I want to see is an injury that prevents him from going after his dream. But the truth is that could happen before he takes a snap in the NBA anyway.
Yeah.
So it might be, we might be in a pretty good spot going into next year. I like what we have going on in basketball. But, getting this kid going into this season, because a lot of people didn't know what Auburn basketball would be this season. This kid picked LSU, Will Wade in LSU first. Wade got fired, and then he was like, on to the next, because the coach I committed to is no longer going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did this season, it seemed like it was an easy decision for him, wasn't it? Like it wasn't even really in doubt. He's going to Auburn.
Well, Auburn was in it from the it was almost kind of like the Kessler ordeal. Like it didn't work out, so I'm gonna go to school that I was looking at before as well in Auburn. Yeah.
So the things that they accomplished on the basketball court this season, I think, made it an easy decision for him to just go to Auburn right after the whole LSU debacle happened.
Right.
That's important. That's why I go back to saying the season was not a waste.
Facts. And speaking of it not being a waste, Walker Kessler won the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year. It was announced this morning. Was it announced this morning or recently? So
it was recently announced. Yeah, I don't remember if it was this morning or yesterday, but either way, he won it.
Congrats to him. Well deserved. Well deserved. Led college basketball, the NCAA in blocks, and was just a physical presence, which is why I would love to see him come back. Because of what he meant for us defensively. So congrats to him. Hats off to him for sure. Guys, let's discuss what we saw.
What did we see?
Mike, I'm gonna let you go first.
Listen, guys, right now, Auburn Gymnastics we made the Sweet 16 in gymnastics. So I don't know if anybody's paying attention to that, but they might be.
As he definitely is.
Yeah, women's gymnastics. On social media, I can't help but notice that Bama fans really hate the joy that we have over gymnastics. And Suni Lee picking Auburn definitely sticks in their craw. Now, traditionally, I understand they have a pretty good gymnastics program. And I will admit, I didn't pay a ton of attention to gymnastics before, Auburn gymnastics. But that does not mean that the love that we have for our school and our sports is any less. And you don't have to have given a damn about gymnastics before to care about it now. Now, we got an Olympic gold medalist chose to come to Auburn. And there are some people on social media who spend all their time tearing down this 18-year-old. rather than just cheering for their school. I can tell you right now, I don't give a damn about one Alabama gymnast. I don't care, because I don't need to know who they are to enjoy how good we've become at gymnastics. It is fun to watch. These perfect 10s that SUNY is producing, meet after meet, that is fun. It is fun to watch dominant athletes dominate. And we have dominant athletes at Auburn now. Jabari Smith, SUNY Lee might be the best pair of athletes to come in through Auburn in a single year in a really, really long time. Just enjoy it. And don't let these Bama fans suck you in to these meaningless arguments about the joy that we have over Auburn sports. You ever hear that saying where we say, like Alabama fans love Alabama football, Auburn fans love Auburn. So yeah, like I just think you can be a casual fan who is now paying attention to gymnastics because of the high profile nature of one of the athletes that we have in gymnastics now. I don't give a damn if you watched 1 second of gymnastics before SUNY got here. You're watching now. That's what transcendent athletes do for a sport. How many people never watched golf before Tiger Woods picked up a golf club? How many people really didn't care about basketball until they saw Michael Jordan play? That is what great athletes do for a sport. You raise the profile of the sport so your average fan starts to watch. After Jordan retired, how many people stopped watching basketball for a little bit? It's okay to have casual fans, but you know what? I may be a casual fan of gymnastics, but I am damn sure not a casual fan of Auburn. We don't have it.
Right.
So Bama and all their sidewalk alumni can go have several seats because they got plenty. They just don't want to see us be happy over sports. I get it. Listen, Alabama has a great gymnastics program. I don't need to recognize one of their accomplishments to watch Auburn do gymnastics. I don't give a damn. Now, our girl Allie is constantly being retweeted by this miserable person on Twitter who takes a lot of joy in tearing down this 18-year-old girl who chose Auburn. And it clearly bothers her. It clearly bothers her. And then you have the nerve to try to question somebody else's fandom. And that behavior, so that we're clear, that the behavior of tearing down constantly and berating the accomplishments of a gold medal winning Olympic gymnast is trash. It's trash behavior, and you are the worst of your fan base. The absolute worst. Please go have a seat somewhere so we can enjoy our sports. This has been a pretty good stretch run for Auburn sports that I hope carries into football in the fall.
That's really what they're upset about, though.
It's
That's
been a
really
really
why
good
they're mad.
Yeah, I mean,
if we had won the Iron Bowl, I just think that Bama fans might just not be able to take life. They would have lost the Iron Bowl, which would mean they wouldn't even had a shot at the national. But they lost the national. It's like, and then Auburn's good at all these other sports while Bama's floundering. That hurts their soul.
They expected us to just be miserable this entire spring coming off of football season, and we just turned the page and one was like,
that's
basketball.
We have other sports we can cheer for, and they're like, no, you're supposed to be mad right now. It's like, okay, well, we'll be back to football in a minute. Yeah. Don't worry.
I literally tweeted, hey man, I think that Auburn fans should be proud of what this basketball team accomplished this season. Yeah. Just to have like literally almost immediately Bama fans jump into the thread to say, you're proud of this? Gonzaga fans too. You're proud of this? I'm like, you damn right I'm proud of it. They gave us maximum effort all year. And not winning the NCAA championship does not nullify all the effort that they put in all year long to even give us something to hope for. Come on, man. And if it were your school, you would be saying the same thing. So don't bring your misery over here to try to make us get down on the accomplishments of our athletes in our sports programs. We have a great AD. Guys, we have a phenomenal AD. And he's had a tough job managing all these Auburn sports over the last year. Probably one of the hardest jobs in, the AD's portion of whatever we do. So I just think, be miserable. Don't get mad when you get called out for trying to question other people's fandom. And Allie's point on this thread that I'm talking about was just like, she said, I can't name one Alabama gymnast. And I'm like, cool. That is not requisite for you to enjoy what Auburn is doing in gymnastics. It doesn't matter. Gymnastics is an individual sport where what your opponent does has very little to do with the performance that you put on. And the scores are largely subjective anyway. A gymnast could go out there and murder it, and the judges could see it differently. There were multiple times Suni should have had a 10, where the judges were just like, fell just short of it. That doesn't in any way take away from the excellent performance that she put out there, and I can recognize that. And when I'm telling you, when I'm talking about I'm the most casual gymnastics fans, I understand very little about the technicals of a vault and what makes a good vault. All I know is stick the landing, no hops, don't fall off the beam. If you're doing a flip, don't fall. Right. Make it look clean. And I have a high amount of respect for these girls who are literally doing backflips on a beam this thin and not almost injuring themselves every meet.
Because the show wouldn't be me.
It wouldn't be me. It's hard. Right. It is really difficult.
This is why we didn't do it.
Yeah. But I don't have to watch every gymnast in the NCAA to appreciate what our Olympic gold medalist is doing. So I'm sorry that Suni didn't choose Bama. But maybe the misery you're trying to bring to us is why she didn't choose your school. Maybe look in the mirror at your miserable ass fan base. Maybe that's why she decided to come to Auburn, because we are family and you guys are Alabama football. I'm done.
Okay.
And another thing. I really hate them.
Ike.
Hold on. I gotta make it scroll. Hold on, my bad. Let me do this again. There we go. I don't even have a rant for this. All I have to say is you did this to yourselves. And I'm happy. So let me say this. We got a great basketball player out of the deal. You guys did it to yourselves, and you should be ashamed of how you are conducting yourselves as an athletic program right now. Again, I know people do crazy stuff all over the country. So like, okay, they cheated, blah, blah, blah. But you all just decided you were just going to try to weather the storm and it'll all be fine. And quite literally, every basketball player you had on scholarship last year left in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
They either transferred or declared for the draft, but they're gone. Every single one of them. Even the kid who just got there in Xavier Pence, all of them dipped. Because you guys didn't know how to handle business and you kept Will Wade employed too long.
Too long.
congrats to you, Baton Rouge, and your Bengal Tigers for screwing this up in the most royal ways possible. All of them, they gone. You're right, Lawrence. In the most royal way possible. Now, I'd like to call your attention to the difference between what panicked fans at Auburn call a dumpster fire and a true dumpster fire. That is the LSU men's basketball program.
Yeah.
Like, it's rough. It's rough down there. Like is it Murray State? That's where the coach is from that's moving over to LA? God bless him.
And he brought one guy with him so far.
God bless him.
They got one person on their basketball team.
He's got a rough job ahead of him to figure out how to.
Why did he take that job? Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know. Like,
of course I'll go to hell. Like, who does that?
Yeah, he just really is. Listen, man, he's got a lot of work ahead of him. If he can pull off wins next year, then he earned his job. So, hey, listen, but hey, I got a good laugh out of it. So,
it's tough, man. They lost everybody.
Everybody. There is not a single player who was on that team last year that will be on that team again this year. And they even lost some of the kids who had committed to come there next year.
Yeah. It's rough.
He's starting from zero. He's literally walk-ons.
Ground zero.
He's got to promote walk-ons. Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah. Now, some of this extends to football as well too. Football is not completely out of my understanding is there are some of these there's something going on with football as well too. So I mean, it was institutional.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the entirety of that athletic department. Speaking of athletic directors,
wow, not doing a great job, bud. LOL at them for sure. This is think about what happened at Tennessee before last season. We got athletes from that, and then this is why.
And this is worse than the Tennessee situation. Like, Tennessee still retained some talent. Like, LSU literally lost their program, bro. Like, everybody, think about this. LSU was a team that went to the NCAA tournament last year, won a couple of games, and none of them dudes are coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, every single scholarship athlete that was on the basketball team gone. All of them. Not like, oh man, this dude could be good in a couple of years. How we're sitting here talking about, man, what are we gonna do with like our 15 guards and our 6 post guys? Somebody's gonna have to leave. LSU's like, we'll take them. We don't have anybody.
It just sucks, man. Dude, they're in trouble. This is the kind of stuff that decimates a program for about 5 years.
Yeah, for sure.
They're going to be in the tank.
I mean, the transfer portal will allow them to go get talent, right? Like, so it's not all hope is not lost.
But they're not going to be able to play in the postseason. Like, these kids will have to go there understanding
that they're playing for nothing, right? And that's going to be the biggest issue, is that you're just going to have to get guys who just
play.
Yeah, because you get to play in the SEC.
Yeah.
And before you were gonna, but like, why would I want to go play in the SEC? Like, I could stay at my bum college and win the conference and still get into the NCAA tournament over there. Like, unless you're playing on the worst team and you're the best player in bum conference A, there's literally no reason for you to come to LSU, because you wouldn't get to the tournament in that bum conference. You're not going to get to the tournament at LSU, but at least you'll get more games on TV. Like, that's your motivation. I don't know why the kid from Murray State did it.
I don't know.
Following his coach. Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's the only plausible explanation.
He must have got you straight out of the hood. You owe him.
But I just want to point out the stark difference in the way our leadership handled a lot
That's
of that stuff that happened
the
versus
biggest
how
difference.
their leadership handled it.
Our athletic director department and our compliance department was like, yeah, this could be bad. Let's go ahead and get ahead of this. LSU was like, we'll see.
Roll the dice. Yeah,
We'll
roll
see.
the dice.
Can't be
flipped
that
it.
bad. I mean, he was only on tape.
They only verified his voice on tape. Wow. Yeah, they really made some missteps there. They did nothing. They literally did nothing about this.
Yeah. I don't get it. I really don't. And again, I know I've laughed at this multiple times. I laughed when Will Wade got fired. I laughed, but I'm still laughing because now you have reached the extinction level event.
But see, a little over a year ago, when Auburn was going through it, we were like, what's happening with LSU? LSU was just nothing to see here. We're still winning games, and Will Wade is excellent. And da 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 da. We were like, what's happening? Because you remember, if you recall, people were treating Auburn like we were LSU.
Yeah.
People in the media, I would say.
And still yammering about how they feel like Auburn didn't get punished enough.
Yeah, I mean, hate it all you want. Our leadership definitely weathered that storm, and it was a non-issue because they chose to self-impose sanctions.
Right.
The NCAA noted the decision to self-impose sanctions as meaningful in their determination that no additional postseason ban be enacted. That's it. Bottom line was we got ahead of it. We sat down players for over a year.
Right.
Who were the players involved? It was Austin Wiley and the other guy that we had to sit. And when they did make the court, there was no question, right? Because we chose cautiousness over wins at the time. This is why you recruit. It sucked. I get it. Those guys were highly recruited, but in the end, it worked out for us because if we know anything about the NCAA, it's that if they don't have any subpoena power, so they cannot compel people to talk. If you make them do the hard work and use the resources, they're going to hammer you when the decision comes down. They're going to decimate your program to make sure that you don't put them through that again. That's what we know. They've been consistent in that for sure. But if you are cooperative and you self-impose and you say, hey, you know what? We made missteps here. We're not saying that we were complicit in anything, but we understand that there were things that we could have done to prevent some of this stuff. This is what they said about Bruce Pearl, right? The failure to promote a environment of compliance. Because as a college coach, you are responsible for what you do, and you're responsible for what you allow to let happen under your house. And they're just saying it's not good enough to say, I didn't know. Nobody told me.
Right.
You need to check in. There were opportunities for our coach to check in and say, this ain't right. He didn't exactly do that. So they handed him down a few games suspension, and that was it. We moved on from it. Barely a blip. But it was not our fault
that we got ahead of it.
Yeah.
And we didn't just wait and say, well, we'll just see what they decide to do.
Pat Forty really thought that the decision to self-impose would be meaningless in the grand scheme of things because he wanted to see us get hammered.
Yeah, there's no precedent for that. Most schools who self-impose and cooperate typically don't get major penalties.
That's it. It was bottom line. And it was funny to hear the NCAA come out and say the exact opposite of what Pat Forty thought.
Right.
He said this is a meaningless self-imposed ban, but he was biased. The NCAA came out and said the exact opposite. LSU took that approach, and look what happened to them. So I bet you they won't make that mistake again. Hopefully they make no mistakes again. But yeah, LOL at them.
I'll go. I was struggling what did I see? Best wishes to Devin Cambridge. He is joining his brother at Arizona State.
Yup.
And he definitely was one of the reasons why our Lobtown hoodies and tees were flying off the shelves, because he was definitely could jump out the gym, freakish athlete, just fun to watch and fast break in on the pick and rolls and what have you. I wish him well at Arizona State. And as we said, Auburn, with limited scholarships and just stockpiling talent in basketball, Bruce Pearl's philosophy is already to play a lot of guys. Gone are the days where we're playing 6, 7 guys or having to rely on only 6 or 7 guys. I hear other schools do that, and I'm like, man, those dudes must be worn out. But Bruce Pearl wants to play a lot of depth, have fresh legs late in games. And because of that, guys are being asked to play a reduced role on this team. And if you're a guy like Devin Cambridge, you have an opportunity to play with your brother and get more playing time than what you're accustomed to, then by all means, man, best wishes to you. Good luck. And I hope it works out well for you. Thank you for representing Auburn well, making us proud. And we wish you much more success in the future. Hopefully you don't have to play us, because that is as far as my sentiments will go. But as long as you're not playing Auburn, I wish you all the best, man.
Get a Pac-12 hell, man.
That's dope. Then that's dope that you get to play with your brother too. That's where memories are made of. So thanks for even choosing to come to Auburn, and thanks for making last year such a memorable year, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, listen, man. He did everything that was asked for him. Just wasn't in the cards for him to finish his career here at Auburn. But we can graciously thank him, for his contributions and some exciting moments, man. I just hope these guys, not everybody can play everywhere. So wherever he goes, those are the guys you really root for. And I hope that he develops his game and adds to his game in a way that gives him a shot to play at the next level.
Yeah.
So.
Indeed. Our comment section is going off the rails. Jazzy, I saw someone get slapped, not sports related, but
it happened. Yeah.
It definitely happened. And Corey, hilarious. Keep my name out your mouth, Jazzy.
Hey, there is one that I do want to talk about. Rand Stokes says, do you think Robbie Ashford starts Auburn baseball next year? Robbie has stated that he is concentrating on playing quarterback.
Right.
All indications is that he's put baseball to the side for now, and anything that interferes with him competing for the starting job will be on the back burner. So does this mean that he's not going to play baseball? I think that he has the opportunity to do so, but he is really focused on being a quarterback.
Yeah.
And we know that from our interview with him. So.
Full show.
It's time to draw again.
Yeah, but so we got a few more tickets to give away here, so let's get back to it.
3 more.
Shout out to those you who hung around. You might get some tickets.
Yeah, might get some tickets.
Let's see.
Let's roll it.
You've had time. Get your hashtag. Get your weight up in the comments if you want to get it in now, because we still got a couple more drawings to do here. Oh.
Yeah, go ahead, Ike. Go ahead.
Ging. I've never seen this one, and this defeats, I guess, the narrative that people who aren't paying members don't win. So I've never seen this name before. So
never might be
the first time. But are you here?
I was about to say, is Ging still around?
Did he hang around for an hour and 50 minutes?
Well, it looks like a she from the picture here.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
I mean, it could be a guy with long hair. So it's a very far away picture there. But anyway, I'm gonna hit the button again and see who else wins.
30 tickets, guys. We gave away 30. We're giving away 30 tickets to 8A. Justin Aldridge.
I've seen him commenting for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
And we got one more.
We got one more.
Last one here is for
Lisa. Come on, Lisa.
Erica
Erica! That'll work too.
Yeah, Lisa said she already had tickets, right? I heard, didn't she?
Yeah, she got
Okay.
tickets, but
Yeah.
still
All right,
satisfaction
so
in winning. Hold on, wait. Erica,
you guys got
nobody
to
has claimed anything yet.
Yeah, but say nobody's commented yet and said that they were still here. So we will see if Chris Long says "ging ging gong gong." That's good. That's good. While we're waiting, this is a good question here.
Yeah, for sure.
Town Aiden 45 says, "Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Speaking on in Yohan Traore, is there any news about if he's trying to get a couple of his friends that are 4 and 5 stars to go play at Auburn?" I mean, if you listened to him talk, he was in a Twitter space, I think, right after his commitment, and did mention that he was trying to recruit one of his friends to come down and play for Auburn as well. But again, the situation is not whether or not he can convince someone that Auburn's a good place to land. We have to have a scholarship to be able to offer him.
Right.
So, Ging Ging is here. But it's about whether or not we have a scholarship to offer him.
Right.
And right now, until Jabari and or Walker Kessler make their commitments, we are out of scholarship spaces, or somebody else transfers. There's no more scholarships to offer anybody. So we're on the wait and see type of situation. Again, Jabari Smith likely gone, but even with that, I think that still puts us at 11 scholarships. And with the NCAA sanctions, I think that's what our cap is right now. I think we lost 2. So I think we're at 11 right now with everybody who's on the team. So somebody else would have to leave in order for us to bring in another scholarship athlete. So
yeah,
this is where we are at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it's when you start to attract talent, that talent will attract other talent. And there was a conversation that happened between Kessler and Jabari about the chance to play with each other. That influenced Kessler. Again, we had an established relationship, but it's icing on the cake when you know you're going to come play with other great players.
Right.
So these guys talk, and they want a chance at a championship. In college basketball, tickets to A-Day.
Tickets to A-Day. So if you can't go, let us know, and we'll throw them back in and roll again. So
yeah, right.
We still got 2 other people that need to claim their tickets. So we might be rolling again anyway.
But I just think in college basketball, where if you're really good, you might only be here for a year anyway. You want to play with the best talent available to have a shot to claim that ultimate prize.
Yeah, because if you guys are good enough, then you'll play in front of bigger and bigger crowds, at least on TV, right? Because everybody's watching the tournament, right? They might not be watching your conference play. They might not be watching your early season, invitationals. Everybody's watching the NCAA tournament. So if you're a good enough team and you can make that tourney, then you've got a great shot of impressing more and more scouts. So hopefully we will see more of that.
Yeah, facts.
Brian Free, literally everybody. If they had on an LSU jersey last year, they're available. Just name a player.
Facts. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I don't care. Name any person on that roster who you saw play minutes at LSU last year. They are available right now.
I have a question.
So yes.
Does this count against your one-time transfer rule?
I don't know if it's the same, because literally, what was the kid's name at South Carolina? That was he was a pretty decent shoot. Like, he had just transferred in last year from South Carolina. He's transferring again. Pinson, who was at LSU, was at Missouri the year before, and he transferred to LSU, and he's transferring again. I think he's using his grad transfer, so the grad transfer is different. But I don't know how it works with transfer.
I don't know how it works when there's like an issue with the NCAA.
Yeah, I want to say that there is like all the kids from Dylan Brooks's class, like they got out scotch-free.
Yeah,
from after what happened at Tennessee, so he could have played last year if he wanted to, even though technically he signed a letter of intent with. But I think they released him from his letter of intent.
Yeah, they had to get released from the letter of intent for sure.
Yeah, so and then the NCAA gave him a one-time waiver because he chose them, and it's not his fault that they did something shady before he got there. We got. Listen, we might have to redraw all three times.
Let's go ahead and
we're at least
start.
gonna give this one away. So
Thanks for letting us know that, though. We appreciate
for
that.
for sure. All
Boom.
right.
So let's get back to it.
Oh,
So if
we can't see it.
If you left and you were disappointed by the fact that you didn't get one, then Gene
Williams.
I've seen that name in the comment section plenty of times. So
yeah, we know Gene.
Are you here, Gene?
Yeah, if Gene is still here. Yeah, keep throwing get your weight up in the comments if you haven't been in before. We will sit here until we at least give 2 of these away, and then I'll walk up to 8A with some extra tickets in my back pocket and give it to somebody tailgate or something.
All right, let's roll it 2 more times here.
Oh, all right, cool.
Roll it 2 more times here.
Sorry if you're Erica or whoever the other person was.
Justin Aldridge.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Erica and Justin.
There goes
Erica.
Erica
See
again.
this later.
Seth
Wood and Gene. Where are y'all at, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just randomly pick somebody from the comment section here in a minute.
Yeah.
I know, right?
It's a little bit of a delay, so we'll see if either of those get up in here. But we still have 3, so let's hit it a third time.
It's the third time.
Boom! Somebody got to get these tickets. And Jarvion Murphy, where you at? Where you at? Somebody come claim these tickets. Tickets to A-Day, man. We are giving these away right now, live.
Just
on
2 tickets. 2 tickets to go see
for
Auburn spring game.
You and a friend.
Might be a historic spring game. This might be one of the best spring games we've ever watched because of the quarterback competition. Right, I hope we get to see heavy doses of Robbie Ashford in this spring game. As a given that we're going to see CJ Finley.
I want to see Holden throw too, man. Rand Stokes asked a question. Do you have to be a member? Absolutely not. If you hashtag get your weight up in the comments, you have just as good a chance as everybody else to win. Still haven't seen anybody who actually won name pop up.
Jarvion is not a member. So
yeah,
just get up in here. But yeah, I want to see heavy doses of Robbie Ashford. Because anything can happen come this fall. And he got, with Calzada sitting out with a lot of the live action stuff, he got a gift. So
James is asking, will it be televised?
Yes, absolutely. 100% will be televised on ESPN, SEC Network on ESPN. So if not on ESPN flat out, Bama usually gets straight ESPN, but it'll be on one of the SEC networks, if not just ESPN 1 or 2. So you will see it.
Am I gonna have to hit this button again? Because I don't see any of these.
You
people
may have to
up
hear
in
it
this
3 more times.
All right, listen, we gave y'all a chance to get in here. Ging was a little late responding, so but cannot go. So let's get back to it. If you're watching it on a delay and you're trying to go back and see stuff, I apologize if you get up here to see your name and we didn't already went past it. It is what it is. Marcus Holland literally just said something a minute ago.
He says, I'm here if nobody wants him. I hope you're still here. I hope you're still here, Marcus.
Marcus. Well, we know. We'll count Marcus because he was literally just here.
So Marcus has one of them.
So we need 2. Marcus, business at the War for.
I'm about to refresh the hashtag or something so y'all can make sure the people are here right now. But we'll hit it one more time. See if anybody else jumps up in here. Boom, 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 boom. Oh,
Lawrence! But he can't go, can he?
He's in Virginia. I don't know if he planned on coming.
He's in Virginia.
I know he's. Let's see, Lawrence, can you come? Are you here?
He's here. He just said something a minute ago. Lawrence is still here.
Yeah.
Okay, Lawrence, can you go?
Yeah, but say if Lawrence can't go, he's gonna be disappointed though. Because he won this and not a shirt. So that's funny though.
We just send him a shirt. He won, damn it. His name came up.
Oh, that's funny.
See, he said he can't go.
It's a long. I feel you. He's in Virginia with me. It's a
Yeah,
long,
it's a long
trip down
trip.
for the 8A.
All right. Well, the button it goes pushed again.
It is.
If I say I'm gonna have to refresh this hashtag. Tim2479.
Who is it? Tim, are you here?
Tim, I don't have confidence. Prove me wrong, sir.
Yeah, I feel like maybe he's one
like
of the folks not here.
You did a drive-by
Did
hashtag.
what's call it ever say anything else after he just won?
Marcus Hollis?
Yeah.
He said I'm still
yeah,
here.
still here.
Oh, still here. All right, cool. So Marcus, send us the email, business@thewar report. We got your tickets ready.
Yeah, we need 2 more winners. King, I want a t-shirt though. You know what? Fair enough. He donated his tickets. Business@thewar report, Ging.
I feel weird. Think it's a woman,
I feel weird saying Ging. It feels wrong.
They haven't corrected us. So
what does that mean? Tell us what that means.
Yeah, I am interested in where Ging came from.
Where Ging come from? Damn,
her name's Ginger.
Okay.
Yep, it's a woman named Ginger. I came up with that just
interesting. Yeah. That's probably right.
All
right. Let's keep rolling it, man. I mean, we're at 2 hours here.
I got stuff
to do, but
exactly.
Yo, Chris. No, that was a weird one. Thomas Ponder. We know Thomas.
Thomas is typically here early. Has he stayed the entire time? Is the question.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's true. Roll on.
So how many have we given away of this 3 that we were supposed to? Just 1, right?
1.
Oh, yeah, the 3 just won.
Yeah, Marcus Holland. All right, Erica had to dip. She had to go to church or something.
All right, hold on. We gonna refresh this hashtag, man.
Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, let's
try this again. Let's try it again. A new hashtag. We want a new hashtag.
Yeah, we're gonna
go to A-Day.
Go to A-Day.
Go to A-Day. Hashtag go to A-Day. That way we know.
You're still here. Hashtag go to A-Day.
Yep.
And we will see. Now we're gonna see how many people can flip and put their new hashtag in quickly. Go to A-Day. I gotta put it in right though. I spelled it wrong.
Yeah,
I put got A-Day on the thing.
Yeah, B-Rag got it. And B-Rag got it.
Hashtag GOTO.
So the people who already start putting it in, they're gonna have to do that again, Ike?
Nah, it'll capture it. I already got 23 entries the second I put this up here. So.
Sweet. All my life I had to fight.
That's funny. All right, here we go. So we got 26 entries. Who shall be the next ones to get these tickets? Boom. We got 2 sets we got to give away. Hashtag go to A-Day. 1 set is going to, I saw Corey's name like 3 times. John Brannon. All right.
My guy.
John comments all the time. I know he is here.
Hey.
Wait a minute.
Thomas,
seriously?
Yeah. Thomas, you won already. Okay, we're gonna backdate 1. Thomas wins.
And that's 3 then. John's got his. 3. Yeah, that's 3.
Yeah, Thomas was here the whole damn time.
Okay, so wait a minute. Ging says, I'm from the Philippines and living in Alabama now. It instantly love Auburn because my husband is an Auburn fan too. Hey. That don't explain what is your name really Ging though?
Yeah, it might be a Filipino name.
We still got to draw again.
Why did you enter? You just be putting stuff in the chat, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
Come on, man. All right. So
help
Thomas,
me.
Malcolm, and Garrett Smith.
Garrett Smith.
All right.
Garrett, I know you here. Garrett. I seen you, Garrett.
That's
Garrett
hilarious.
Smith.
Bro was like, I'm just gonna enter and see.
Yeah,
Garrett. Yeah. There's Garrett right there. 404. He put it in twice just to make sure he won.
Yeah.
Garrett, business at the War Report. email me. Yo, he says, yo, business at the War Report. Email me so we can get you those tickets out. They are digital tickets. So do not print them. They will not be scanning physical tickets. You have to pull this up on your mobile device. I will send you 2 tickets to A-Day. So
That's a fact, Riley. Nobody could ever say we don't give away stuff.
yeah. So we got Marcus, right?
Yeah.
We got
Garrett
and
Thomas.
Okay. So you guys emails business at the War Report. We'll get those out to you. Looking forward to
2 people who won earlier who I don't remember. So
hey, exciting. Before we get off, exciting news. So if you were with us last fall, we gave away 2 tickets to every single Auburn home game, football game last season. 2 tickets. They sent an email out to Tigers Unlimited Foundation donors, which is us, to actually pick seats for next season. So I'm in the process of picking the seats that you guys will win next season. Now,
oh yeah, because we're gonna do it again this year.
Yeah.
We're sending somebody to every home game again.
yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So I know you got. I may not switch the seats because everybody said that they were great seats. But if for some reason there's something a little bit more 40-yard line-ish, I might pick those. But we'll see. They reward you for renewing your tickets every year. So looking forward to giving those away this fall. Anthony
Grant, every home game. We will have tickets to every single home game this year, including Penn State. So if it's a home game on the calendar, the War Report will be giving away 2 tickets to it.
Trevon Reed wants a blue out for Penn State.
Hey, but listen to me carefully. I didn't do it today, but normally I restrict the chat to subscribers, and there will be situations where we will do members only stuff. So just know, today I gave a lot of people a pass who might not even be subscribed to the channel that could have won tickets today, because we need to give these things away. We just asked you guys to hit the sub button. That's not asking a lot, right? Hit the subscribe button. Tell a friend. Help us grow.
For sure.
As a matter of fact, we need 26 more subs to hit 7,000.
Come on.
26. So if you have
Help
a
us
secondary YouTube account, log into that and hit subscribe for us.
For sure.
Nah, don't do that. I want the real engagement. I want real people. Send real people our way.
I don't care.
Mike G, take us out, man.
Hey, listen, thanks to everybody who watching. I know this was a long show today, but if you want something, it was worth it to you. So become a patron member. Help us keep making it worth it to you by making it worth it to us. Become a patron. Help us grow. We got a lot of great things going on at the War Report. So your small amount of financial support every month helps us continue to bring you free tickets, giveaways, and more access to interviews and things of that nature. Stay tuned. We've got some great stuff coming up. The War Report is growing this offseason. So before football season hits, we're going to launch some more War Report initiatives for you guys, and your monthly support helps us continue to do that. We are partnered with the Lee County Humane Society to raise money for a good cause. Please donate to this. You can find the link in the About section of our YouTube channel. 50 cents on every dollar goes to them to help them in their mission to hashtag save all the puppies. Guys, check out our merch store. If you didn't win a t-shirt today or tickets, you can just support us by going to our merch store and buying some gear. We got lots of great stuff in there. We're on podcasts. Check us out on every single podcast platform there is. We have podcast exclusive content now for you guys. With Auburn Beams, our girl Brandy Mack, Allie Davison, a number of guests will be joining us for podcast-only exclusives. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, anything, SoundCloud, anything you listen to podcasts on, the War Report is there. So got another one coming at you guys with myself and Allie Davison, 5 a.m. tomorrow. Check that out. Want to thank our title sponsor, University Ace Hardware. Guys, University Ace Hardware has been with the War Report since the beginning of last season. Since before the beginning of last season. Check them out at 2101 East University Drive. For all your home improvement needs, Ace is the place, especially the one in Auburn. Our guy over there, David Fitchner, just a great guy, loves the community, doing a lot of great stuff. And we appreciate him for being on with us as long as he has been. So support us by supporting our sponsors. Also support Prize Picks. prizepicks.com. Use code rapport to get a 100% match on anything that you deposit as a first-time registrant. We love Prize Picks as well, too. They came on with us in mid-January in football season, in basketball season. And we hope to be longtime partners with them as well, too. So support us by supporting them. Go to Prize Picks. There's lots to do over there at Prize Picks, especially with basketball season, with NBA season still in full gear. Now, I know college basketball is over, but if you watch the NBA and you want to get on some action, win a little money, you can do that at prizepicks.com. Use code report to get a 100% match.
Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you guys watching with us. Before you get out of here, and if you haven't done so already, please share this video on your social media, Facebook and Twitter, using hashtag #GetYourWeight Also, before you get out of here, smash that like button. For those of you who are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button so that you will know when we go live. You'll be live with us, watching along with us. We greatly appreciate it. Also, you can interact with us on social media. That is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at The War Rapport. We are TW Rapport on TikTok. Signing off, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great weekend. As always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.